Okay. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Trudy Milburn, the Assistant Dean of Liberal Arts and Sciences and Director of the Academic Programs for Liberal Studies. And I'm joined here today with our faculty member, Leandro Bergemi, Keith, who's the Director of the Teaching and Learning Center. And I have two students, Els and Megan, who will join us a little bit later. So I wanted to begin by sharing the schedule. First, I'll give this brief welcome. Then we'll have a live faculty interaction where Leandro will go through his course, Introduction to Latin American Studies, and give a preview. And then we'll have Keith join us with using Moodle and brief instructions on how to get set up if you've never used that system. And then we'll leave the latter part for Q&A. So I'd like to just briefly talk about our Purchase online philosophy. Purchase College, part of the State University of New York system, is a small liberal arts and conservatory college with approximately 4,000 students. Subsequently, our courses are very small when they're face-to-face, and we like to use that same pedagogical model when we move to online. So most of the classes are somewhere under 30 seats. We have one larger class of 60 called Food, but the instructors really prize the interaction with the students and give a lot of feedback as you're going through the material. Here's an example of a syllabus that you might get. This is the Racial Inequalities class that's going to be offered this next summer session starting on July 2nd. So the instructor will lay out all of the requirements, and then you'll be able to follow along in the Moodle shell. And basically, that's it. I'll now turn it over to, before I turn it over to Leandro, I just wanted to say there's several courses that still have open seats, so certainly we can come back to this if you have particular questions about a specific class that you'd like to join. And now I'll turn it over to Leandro to talk about his class.
Thank you, Trudy, and hi everyone. My name is Leandro Bergemi. I'm a history professor at Purchase. This is a class that I usually teach on regular semesters in the classroom, and I work this class to meet the expectations of a good online summer and winter course. So that's one of the great things about taking online classes. It's that it's Purchase faculty teaching their own classes. My class, Latin America, Introduction to Latin American Studies, it's a way to introduce the region, the diversity of Latin American peoples, their cultures, their societies, their religion, their music, their sports, and to teach students how to think about US and Latin America as part of a common history. So while this is an introductory class, which students usually really enjoy, we spend the 4 weeks studying 5 different modules. So Keith, if you can switch to the next. And the way I organize the course is by introducing the class and debating what Latin America is. I'm a historian. I don't take things for granted. I want to know who came up with this name and what's into this name. And then we switch into different topics: the history of colonialism, the history of the conquest of Latin America, the history of the independence, the history of US-Latin American relations. Then we switch to a different module, which is on race and ethnicity, to understand the different meanings of what Black means in Latin America, what white means, and what brown or indigenous means. And this is usually one of the favorite units because students really engage in very thoughtful and critical conversations. Then we switch to Latin American culture, in which we explore soccer. You might have heard about Messi. We talk about cinema. We talk about visual culture. We talk about music. What does hip-hop music means in Brazil? Is it just a copy of music from the United States, or is it a way to project an identity of urban poor Black people in Brazilian favelas? Those are the kind of discussions we talk. And then the last unit is human and environmental rights, two key issues to explore Latin America in the last 2 decades. Keith, can we switch to the next? So you're gonna see that we have daily activities. You're gonna participate in forums on a daily basis. That's where we meet virtually and where we're gonna learn from each other. And then there are other assignments. Every time we finish a module, you're gonna write an essay. And then you're gonna submit a final paper. It sounds like a lot of work, but you need to be aware that in 4 weeks, you're gonna complete what the equivalent of a 1 semester class. So in my experience, it can be hard the first 2 days until you get the sense of what the expectations are and you learn how to pace yourself. But one thing I can say is that we are always behind our computers. Maybe not 24/7, but we're gonna be always there for you. So it's not that you're working alone, you are, but there is someone behind the computer. And anything that you're worried about or you are not sure about how you're doing, we provide daily feedback. So this is very, very important. It's not that you're working on your own, you are also working with a group of other students and your faculty. I think I cover.
Okay.
Did I? Yes. So your turn, Keith.
Okay. So just a few comments about the learning environment that we use here at Purchase. We've been a Moodle campus for close to a decade now. We have selected Moodle for a variety of reasons. It is itself an open product, which fits into our philosophy of education here at Purchase. But just in general, the courses are organized in a very natural way that mimics the flow of a course that you would see on campus or online. When you sign up for the courses, if you're not a Purchase student already, you will have gotten an account, as will be discussed later, I think, and that same account that you would use for your Purchase email is what you would use to log in to our Moodle learning management system. And you would have access to your courses they all open up 4 days before the onset of the semester. So what we like about Moodle is its openness. In terms of the Moodle learning environment itself, of course, it's a place for faculty members to organize the learning resources and learning activities that you will make use of in similar ways that Leandro has already referred to. There will be documents that will be uploaded into the Moodle course and other kinds of resources and activities that are primarily used for courses are discussion forums and assignments and quizzes and some other more specialized activities. Moodle also provides messaging for course announcements and a calendar for keeping track of what needs to be done when. But in addition to those core Moodle functions, we're able to bring in a lot of functions from other related products. Many faculty will embed web videos, whether they're YouTube or TED Talks or other kinds of web resources. We have a product called VoiceThread, which is a third-party product that we have integrated into Moodle that allows, first of all, faculty to set up narrated presentations in a very easy fashion that allows you to access them through Moodle. But also some faculty use VoiceThreads to provide an environment where students can have a kind of asynchronous but oral conversation about different kinds of images and other resources. We have a variety of open educational resource platforms that we've incorporated into Moodle and library services in terms of library database resources to provide access to articles and other materials. Other examples that you might see, many faculty use Turnitin to help support student documentation of their sources and also to provide feedback on written assignments. Something that's more specialized you won't see unless you're in, say, a music composition course is another third-party product called NoteFlight, which supports music composition kinds of activities. So the fact that Moodle is this open platform allows us to bring in this wider variety of resources and activities that we hope will make our courses engaging to the students who are taking them.
All right, great. Thanks, Keith. And just to pick back up where we were talking about the courses that are open both from the liberal arts side and the Conservatory of Arts, we have some unique offerings because we have a School of the Arts. So courses like collage and intro to digital photography are being offered online this semester, but we also have a number of other sort of, like Leandra was talking about, history courses and psychology that fulfill your general education requirements. So I'll ask some of these frequently asked questions to our student guests. And Els, in addition to being a student, works at our office, so if you call the main number, she might likely answer. And we often get the following question, so I'll let you begin.
What is the cost?
So the cost is per credit. And the basic tuition for New York residents is $278 per credit, but there are additional fees at times as well.
And is there a payment plan?
There is not a payment plan, but you have to pay within, is it 24 hours?
Yes, 24 hours after registration to secure the seat in the class. And if you don't do it, you have to re-register again.
All right, excellent. And do people ask you for syllabi?
They do sometimes. Some students, especially students who need the course approved at their home college, they need a syllabus for that process. They can call us, and if we have a syllabus in our archive, then we'll send the most recent one. Just by the email, it's a quick process, PDF form, and we go from there.
Great, excellent. And what's the email easiest to reach you?
The easiest is conted@purchase.edu. That's CONTED, an abbreviation of continuing education, conted@purchase.edu.
All right, excellent. And I know there's a couple of different dates for registration. Classes begin on July 2nd. So when is the last day that you can register?
The very, very last day you can register is July 3rd, because that's the end of the ed drop period. I don't recommend that because then you're already 2 days into the course. It's best to and also there's a $40 late registration fee if you leave that late. But I would recommend to register as soon as possible, at least those 4 days before even the course starts, because then you'll give yourselves a heads up on the course.
Excellent. And what are students on the wait list if the course is full, like Introduction to Psychology, for instance, is currently full?
Yes, if you're on the wait list, then you want to make sure that you keep monitoring your purchase email account, because as soon as somebody drops the course and the student on the wait list gets offered the seat, they have only 24 hours to register. And then if you don't register, then it goes to the next student on the wait list.
All right, so it's very important to check that purchase.edu.
Absolutely, yeah, and then don't forget to pay within the other 24 hours.
All right, excellent, thank you. So how one can become a visiting student if you're not already a purchase student, there's a page called Visiting Students, and you can access that page from the summer website, purchase.edu/summer or summer 18. The 5 steps: submit your information to create a student account. So that's how you get that purchase.edu account, by activating your email. Identify the courses that you're interested in registering for, which I showed at the beginning of the slide in a place called My Heliotrope. Look at your student portal and make sure that you know the time your class is starting and the date, and certainly pay your bill. If you're confused at any point, the next slide will illustrate the user login. So from the first, this is how these 3 steps creating a pin, and that will help you begin. And then within this portal, you'll see the next slide that shows a user guide. So this provides screenshots of what you will see and step-by-step instructions in case you're confused. Certainly, you can also call the main number.
914-251-6500, option 1.
Excellent. And I think the next slide is other questions. So if we have any questions? No? So I'll turn it over and ask Emily and Els what their experience is like being a student at Purchase.
I'll take this. I have, first of all, loved my time at Purchase. I actually am a recent graduate, May 18th, 2018, so congratulations. Thank you. But I was a liberal studies arts major, which no longer exists, but there still is a fantastic liberal studies major option. And I was fortunate enough to take a summer course, which was actually in person, but I was also fortunate enough to take 2 hybrid courses. And one of those was primarily online, actually. And it was a Frank Lloyd Wright course, and the Moodle page was a phenomenal way to have the class organized, because truly every module was, there were tabs on the top with each module, and it was all organized. And as a student, I found a lot of comfort in that, knowing that I would be able to just kind of see where the class was going. As well as on each page, I found an introduction from my professor, and all the course expectations and the syllabus was right there for me, as well as pictures that kind of gave me an idea of where we were going, and videos were linked, and documents were uploaded for us to read. And when it came to completing assignments, I found that a lot of it was actually working with people. There were, give me the word here. We had the option to write, a post, and then someone would have to respond, and we had a whole online conversation, and I ended up learning a lot from that. And then, of course, submitting assignments was as easy as one click. So,
when I work with faculty to develop the online courses, we have a couple of different models we work around, but one of it is, who are these students are going to engage with? They're going to engage with their professor, they're going to engage with the content of the course, but for the majority of the courses, they're also going to be a very important engagement with the other students in the course.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And Els, you took it on?
Yes, I also took an online course. It was a winter course over 3 weeks. I managed to actually keep working. I had to take some vacation days to keep up with the assignments and the deadlines, but it was a very good experience. And in that course also there was the discussion board where we would give each other ideas and comment on ideas. I took a course called American History and Society Through Music. So there were a lot of actually external music recordings in the course as well. And I must say that the faculty was really supportive. He would give feedback individually and to the group, and was right on. So that you didn't feel lonely, just as Leandro, make sure that he doesn't let his students swim.
Right. Yeah. So it sounds like the possibility is you could be a working student and take the course, maybe completing it at night or according to your own schedule.
Right. The only thing I would say is you need to be organized and disciplined. You have to have that discipline that you hit the deadlines, because you can't really slack off. You'll be behind very soon in an online intensive course. The other thing is you have to be a pretty good writer. Mm-hmm. You have to be comfortable with doing a lot of the assignments in written form, right. Because otherwise you're going to just take too much time to write and edit and rewrite and Mm-hmm. So those are my 2 tips to a lot of students who ask, how does it work?
Excellent. And do you get any questions at the TLTC from students who might be confused or having to log in? And
well, for getting help logging in, they can go to actually a number of sources. we try to get more students to actually take advantage of the campus technology help desk, which helps with email and account issues and so forth. So the help desks can certainly help help get students settled with their account. Any of the librarians, the reference librarians, are good sources to go. Maybe not, well, certainly for students who are taking face-to-face courses, we have a lot of students coming to the library, to the reference desk to get help with Moodle issues. Sometimes they send them down here to us in the basement, but more and often than not, they can be dealt with up in the reference area. And for the online students, the library, if you go to the library homepage and look at the contact us methods, the library provides text-based and email-based service to patrons who are online.
Excellent. So does anyone have any last comments before we conclude? Leandro, any other tips for students that occurred to you?
If you're not familiar with the online method, don't be afraid. It's the first day. It's just getting used to the first day. And remember, we are always behind the desk and the computer, and we are always here to help you. So you're not alone. That's important.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and scheduling this live virtual open house so that we could premiere your course as well as courses in general for session 3. Again, if you have any questions and you're watching or listening, please call us.
914-251-6500, option 1.
All right, excellent. And we look forward to seeing you either online or face-to-face at Purchase. Have a good afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.